everything is working, and like we are almost at 2 o'clock in the morning, but there's no time to sleep because you'll miss something. You'll miss something. I tell you, what we've accomplished is just amazing. Keeping good records is really important, really important. And what I'm about to tell you and share with you is evidence of that, because your memory is not always really accurate, good, right? You need to keep good records. You need to record everything, document everything. And so here we are. It's late at night, but what I have, if you stayed up to watch us, you are in for just like jaw dropping, jaw dropping. So, and I'm sorry I don't come on earlier. It just can't be helped. So let's get started. We are, oh, I guess I didn't put the day on there. 2057. Yeah, I guess I was so shaken. I was so no, 2058. I'll put it on later. But 2058 days since Richard was forcibly removed from his barracks room because he was afraid for his life. He was in his barracks room, and they forcibly removed him and took him downstairs to the basement. He fought like hell, punched their mouth in, kicked their mouth in, I'm sure, because they had to have emergency dental work. That's what our evidence tells us. And but he lost his life, and they stole his body off of Fort Bliss, and they trafficked it uh, to Juarez, Mexico, where evidence indicates they harvested his organs, and they disposed of his rest of his remains at Plenitude Crematorium. So you have to have a lot of connections, right? You have to have a lot of connections for something like that, something that vile, vulgar, evil, really treasonous, absolutely treasonous. You have to have a lot of connections, and to do something that that evil. And well, today, and I'm going to try to do this by memory. Um, well, the last 24, 48 hours, news has broken that a staffer from Veronica Escobar's office, Benito Torres, was was caught 11 times masquerading as a lawyer with hidden contraband to go into the ICE facility there on Fort Bliss, where this is not unaccompanied minors, okay? That was that was the Biden thing, right? That was the Biden thing, to keep unaccompanied minors and traffic like 500,000 of them, a half a million, right? That was the Biden thing, the sniffer, okay? The the Jeffrey Epstein thing that borders on the North call out of White Sands, that also borders on Beto O'Rourke's family ranch, the Sanders Ranch, right there by Santa Fe, because White Sands has restricted airspace, see? So this is the emergency intake center of unaccompanied minors was a Biden thing. But what's happening right now at the ICE detention center on Fort Bliss, these are hardened criminals. These are violent. Amongst them are very violent detainees. And you have the likes of Veronica Escobar's staff masquerading as a lawyer to bring phones to these detainees, smartphones to these detainees, so that they can communicate with one another and with Veronica Escobar's office. Maybe with her husband, who's an immigration judge, Michael Pleaders. What in the world? To smuggle in contraband that puts every guard at risk, puts Fort Bliss at risk. I mean, and you know who Benito Torres is? Do you know we were in communication with him in August of 2023 as new information came out asking for a congressional hearing. 2 congressional hearings were denied us. That we had a witness, a whistleblower to our son's murder case, requesting a congressional for our sake. And it was the same Benito Torres who was smuggling in contraband, masquerading as a lawyer into the ICE facility. That was the same exact monster who threw a whistleblower into the wolves' hands and denied us a congressional hearing for the murder of our son, who was reporting cartel infiltration on Fort Bliss in connection with the Walmart mass shooting and the worst type of crimes against children and everything else. Because Richard is the key to everything. To everything. And it was this same monster who is a retired command sergeant major that was on the staff of Beto O'Rourke. I wonder if he knows Danae Katzen. I wonder if he knows Martha Mendez Aguilar, La Diabla, who was harvesting organs and organizing and conducting illegal C-sections after women were targeted with the crisis pregnancy, promised jobs and a cheap cesarean section with a job, and were harvested. And how many of those ended up at Plenitude Crematorium? Because the owners lived right next to Beto O'Rourke. This is the same Benito monster, Taurus, that we were in communication with in August of 2023. And we have the receipts. He never said that he was a retired command sergeant major who had served under the same command structure as Richard and that had just recently retired. Meaning he wants to do a congressional on the people, the leadership that he just retired from and put his retirement at risk. Oh no, he wouldn't do that, but he would put everybody else at risk. Everybody else. This is, well, he's facing felonies. They have the receipts on him. Unless Veronica Escobar said, "Don't worry. You can sign your name as a lawyer in the ICE and lie and smuggling contraband to these violent detainees because I've got my husband, Judge Michael Pleaders. Don't forget about my husband, the immigration judge." Oh my gosh. Y'all, do you know how many people he has harmed by blocking the congressional? What a monster. And to be a retired command sergeant major, I just think it's the big T, the big T. It's like we have the cartel in our military. We have the cartel in our military, and they are the worst monsters. And let me tell you why they did what they did. And this is why I'm coming on so late because, I'm trying to do my homework. And this is going so fast. The news is going so fast. And I wanted to talk about all the other things that are happening that are just absolutely jaw dropping as well. But this is big. This is big. Because, see, when President Trump came on, and you can tell that something big is being dismantled because you have people that you thought you could, I don't know, that were in the conservative movement trying to blame everything on Israel, right? Trying to blame everything. Like, really? Okay. Really? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, I'm not giving them a pass, but absolutely the way the narrative is going is just so obvious that they're protecting the trafficking pipeline because not one of them is mentioning the trafficking pipeline coming into the United States, the fuel theft, the children, the drugs, the all the weapons and all all the contracts, the absolutely corrupt contracts, the privileged positions to do, with these big paychecks, that these people get, it's absolutely so obvious that they want to divert our attention from El Paso, from the El Paso Mormon faction, cartel, philanthropists that are in alliance with the Mexican cartel, with the Iranian faction, with the Chinese faction, which is very interesting considering these detainees and where they're from. These violent ones that he's trying to give cell phones to. What is he doing? Giving them cell phones so he can organize some kind of military thing? Some kind of organized violence? He's a sergeant major, retired, cavalry, whatever. Oh, the four. Oh my gosh! Tomorrow, and I wanted to talk about Miss Knopf, Miss Knopf and the AUSA, and everything we're finding out about that with the AUSA, with oh, see, major AUSA in there. Before Jaime Esparza, that said Miss Knopf cannot be trusted. Cannot be trusted. But instead of working on that, which is so important, we've got Benito Torres putting lives in danger because clearly it's obvious that the problem is cartel infiltration in our military and in our agencies and government organizations, institutions that are protecting the cartel while throwing whistleblowers to the wolves, while blocking congressionals on a murdered soldier's case who was murdered on Fort Bliss and the body stolen off of Fort Bliss, and there's no congressional? This is really Benito Torres. Uh, and I the emotions are, because I'm just like, wow, how evil. But thanking God that he got caught. Thanking God that we have President Trump that ended the U.S. aid. And I didn't put that in the article, and I need to put that in the article because it was turning off the spigot of the U.S. aid of these NGOs, which I did mention, because the congressional office, and in this case, a Veronica Escobar, would use the lawyers of these non-government organizations to go into the illegal migrants and then manipulate and for paperwork, whatever, their cases. And they would be in communication with them through these NGO lawyers. That's how they used to do it. But when President Trump got in, he turned that spigot off. He said, no, no US aid, no to these NGOs being a tool weaponized by these congressional offices, in this case, Veronica Escobar, say, no, no, you can't use their lawyers to manipulate illegal immigration migrant cases. And so, what did they do? They committed a felony, multiple felonies, multiple felonies. Veronica Escobar, well, I'm going to tell you, Benito Torres, he needs to face the absolute highest penalty, the highest penalty, because he never divulged, never told us that he was a sergeant major retired, that he had that conflict of interest. And what he did is so severe, so serious. He needs to face the absolute highest penalty. But I'm not um, naive to the fact that what Veronica Escobar has done, and the list is very long, and people have said, why don't you go after Veronica Escobar? Why don't you go after Veronica Escobar? Well, today is the day you'll be happy, because her crimes are so uh, so blatant, right? So blatant in all of this. Now, if he maintains what he has said, that what he did was under the orders of her office, then she's in trouble. We know she's up to no good, but and you know what? It's not trouble. She's facing justice. That's what's happening here. She needs to face justice to the highest extent, because she's a narco politician, y'all. She's a narco politician. And as the county judge before Ricardo Samaniego got in, well, Ricardo Samaniego's so bad too, right? God, they're so bad. Uh, she's the one that brought in the illegal cartel medical examiner, Mario Raskin Ortiz, and approved his paycheck. He makes like $500,000 a year in El Paso. You know, you only make that kind of money when you're crooked. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just a little, like, wow. Can't express it. Can't express it, because the emotions are involved, so many rolled into one. It's just yeah, so many. Can't express it. I wish I had the gift of gab, um, but I just can't express it. But I think she's facing, well, I know she's facing justice, and so I'm happy about that. See, there's this happiness, right? There's this like, wow, let's pop a bottle of champagne. I've got 3 bottles of champagne in my refrigerator that's been there for a long time. And yeah, just waiting for a moment. like the day they face justice. And yeah, and Benito Torres too. He needs to face justice. Yeah. And his crimes are not limited to what he did to our family and to Richard and to the whistleblower and to putting all these people at risk at the ice. Because, he went 11 times. 11 times. How many of those detainees have phones because he snuck them in? And what kind of conversations? And what was he planning? And what kind of manipulation? And who did he put at risk? And is he a mutinous? Was he a mutinous command sergeant major? And there's just so many questions. So, yeah, they need to face the highest penalty. Let's thank God it's in Texas because Texas has the death penalty. Thank God. Thank God. And I wanted to talk about the organ harvesting that went on down in Cancun, that's coming out to light, and all the responses I got from that. It's just going absolutely viral. Viral. You know why? Because people have been facing it, that reality. And they are like shocked that somebody has the uh, the posts up that have some weight behind it because I know that we file with agencies and institutions and organizations, and that it is going to be on record and it is going to be driven to be addressed, absolutely, and that President Trump has 12,000 troops at the border now already in Mexico. There's not like, oh, is he going into Mexico? No, he's already controlling Mexico when it comes to um uh these extraditions, these arrests. Look, you had Monica arrested. It took Scheinbaum to get her released. Scheinbaum, the president of Mexico, to get her released. And, you know, uh, if and of course she knows where the billions of dollars went. Her husband was the money launderer for El Mayo. Um, but that's just a beginning. It's just I just can't even express it how this is all developing so fast. Because El Mayo is that indicates to us that he's willing and dealing. He already did his plea deal, but he's doing some more things. Because in order to even get Monica arrested, his eldest daughter arrested, and don't forget, his lawyer was sent to Richard for counterintelligence shortly before Richard lost his life. And that is documented. I'm here to help you. You can trust me. Tell me everything you know. Oh, and now he lost his life. It's the same thing with Julio Cordero. Hello, Western District of Texas. prosecutor's office, AUSA. Can I speak to someone? I've got the names of the 2 philanthropists. I've got the receipts. I did it. They're the last 2 on my list for Poison Ponds. Who can I talk to? Oh, okay. Miss Knopf. Miss Knopf, boy, do I have information for the prosecutor's office. I've been in contact with the USA, the AUSA's office. And now I have more for you. Okay. The 2 philanthropists. Wow. And what happened shortly thereafter? He was killed. And people lose, like they lose some hope and everything in that. I don't. I don't at all. Nope. Because God is big. God has a plan. And let me tell you, he is no buttercup. You just don't mess with him. And they've been messing with him. And he's strategic because he's a God of order, a God of law and order. And he's strategic and he is in communion with us. So that's why we are a country under God and a country of the people, by the people, for the people, under God. And that his every word is law word, right? Every word. That makes all of creation a law word because he said it and it was. And creation itself works against these monsters. Don't forget about Deborah's song in Judges. She sings that the stars in their course fought against Sisera, that the creation itself fights against these cartels. They have no chance. Thank you. And you see this now. Benito Torres, we have the receipts. You were the one that blocked our congressionals. And now you are facing felony. And let me tell you, it's going to be epic. Epic. And when God moves for justice, it's epic. It's epic. And I don't know what Veronica Escobar has asked her magic mirror this morning, like magic mirror on the wall, because she's such a witch and she's in the darkest dark of the dark, you know. Um, but she's nothing, nothing compared to God, nothing. And nature itself is working against her. Every breath she takes, every cell in her body, every hair on her head, everything she drinks, everything she eats is working against her. And it just is, it's going to be epic. And today really is, yeah, a day to be hopeful. Don't be without hope. Don't let people say, oh, they never get caught. They always get away with it. Nope. Nope. Don't let them say that. That is a psyop. That's a psyop. And there is so much psyop going on right now and noise going on. to lead you astray, away from El Paso. All eyes on El Paso. All eyes on El Paso. I mean, even Fort Huachuca is a little off. You've got to keep your eyes on El Paso because that is that's where the El Paso Mormon faction cartel, that's their epicenter. The philanthropists. Okay, everybody. I think that's jaw dropping. Um, and I'm going to go now and say the Magnificat and praise God for just his power on everything to bring the philanthropist down and to bring the humble up. And yeah, so I'm because I wanted to talk about Jeffrey Epstein being a philanthropist, right? They were trying to make him they were trying to make the media him a philanthropist. Let's not say that he is a convicted predator. No, the media wants to say he's a philanthropist. So maybe tomorrow I'll get to that. It's just there's so much news. There's so much to say. And and I just want to thank everybody so much for coming on, for the patience, for the hope, for the support, and for all the sharing. And special thanks for Laura for translating everything into Spanish, even so late at night, because I know you're very, very busy. And so I just appreciate that so much. And Martha, thank you so much. I'm looking at all the comments right now. Uh, yep. Seferino, I hope I'm saying your name right. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Thank you. So, thank you for all of that love. Wow, that is so great. So I will be back tomorrow, God willing. Thank you so much. Please